My name is Harry, I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is May 17, 2024. It is 3:54 a.m. This is video number 2. Video number 1 is on PYTE. I spoke about some more things about the Nigeria trip and different bunch of topics. Some crazy thinking of me, thinking of Princess Diana and Miss Doria's mother in heaven, you know, teaming up. A lot of stuff were discussed on video 1, so it's on PYTE. All right, so I want to focus on some tweets that I saw. It's not that much. Who knows how long I'm gonna stay? It's what, 6 tweets, and some of them are videos. So let's look at the background of this channel and then we go straight to it. Feel free to skip. 4,188 subscribers, new subscribers, welcome. Estimate revenue $242.11. And just remember, if you guys want to support any of my channels, I have PayPal, Cash App. The links are in the description and you could donate. All right, or go on my shop. You could go check it out and see if you like some stuff. Okay, so let's look at analytics. In the last 48 hours, oh, I'm surprised, 8,279 views. Okay, so I guess that's from different videos, old videos perhaps. But anyway, let's go on Twitter. All right, so these are for the squaddies. This is not on my list, I just saw it here. Beautiful illustration of the Duchess of Sussex by, who's the illustrator? Oh, she didn't put the thanks close. So that's the person here on IG. Okay, so that's nice. Okay, but let's focus on my list. All right, the British media denigrating Nigeria only shows how racist they are. Nigeria is not the only country experiencing some degree of poverty, violence, and corruption. Even the UK has their fair share, as evidenced below. I shared this on my community board. I believe it was around the 2020 where Rashford, the football player, was helping you know, school children to pay for their lunch, and there's people in the UK who's complaining about you know, they don't have money. I have some clips of some people who discussed about the situation that they are in.
Last night my wife spent an hour trying to glue my daughter's school shoes back together because we can't afford to buy her a new pair. I mean, I'm 65, I've worked all my life, and we can't afford £20 for a pair of shoes. There's something wrong with society.
So with the gas, electric and my mortgage, that's 75% of my wages gone, without anything else, without any, you know, council tax, water rates, car insurance, petrol, food, any of that, 75% of my wages gone.
I can't remember the last time I went to a pub, because I can't pay, you know, £5 for a pint. It's beyond my means. So the local pub's now closed. Not entirely due to me not going there, but that's closed.
Do you find it hard?
Yes, yes.
And so are you optimistic at all about the future?
Optimism. It's not a word I use a lot these days. I'm not familiar with the term.
So for the UK to keep on saying that, in other words, to the world, they want to show they are the perfect country and things like that. But deep inside, they're corrupt kind of way. The recycle system, along with the royal family, the tabloid, and the government, all are on the same page. Let me not waste time in repeating myself because they know difference like any other. The thing is that the country has money. Don't get me wrong. The UK has money. But the way they're making, they putting laws, it's like selective few. Okay, they want the social class, the upper class to have everything, and everybody below them, you know, make your own way or something. Even though there's charities to help them, the royal family don't even help charities. Look at this. Not too long ago, Charles just dropped several hundreds of charities off of the umbrella of the royal family. They're not doing anything for them anyway, so there's no loss there. But the pretend of things. So there's this here. Energy bill, 13 million British homes did not turn on heating when cold last winter. And I, was it on this channel? Could have been on this channel. Where they have, and that was the first time I actually heard that. What is it? Heating bank or something, I think they call it. Where they, during the winter, they will have places that open up for families who cannot pay for, or who doesn't have heat at home, so they could come and spend some time in that particular place with their kids. I've highlighted this stuff on my channels. Okay, which survey finds about half of a household with annual income of under £20,000 made such a decision. Millions of Britons did not switch on their heating during cold snap last winter in an attempt to save on their energy bill as the cost of gas and electricity soared. Almost 9 in 10 households tried to cut back on their energy usage last winter, while almost half of all, I guess they should go solar. Many of these families should go solar. Okay, UNICEF to feed children in UK for first time. I highlight that as well. And I believe one of the thumbnails that I have has the UNICEF in there. Is it UNICEF or Save the Children? I don't remember, but I remember the thumbnails. Okay, the money is being used to boost the nutritional quality of emergency food parcel. UNICEF is helping to feed children in Plymouth as part of its first ever domestic emergency response. I'm telling you, my goodness. And there's this here. Prince Charles accepted £1 million from family of Osama bin Laden reported claim. I highlight that as well. Is there more? Oh, there's one more. Vice and UK. Okay, so there's this here. Feel free to read it. Okay. The fact that Harry and Meghan travel there is a testament to the fact that they are people who want to make a difference. It shows their level of commitment and care of others that they are willing to, okay, you whenever necessary to help those in need, and no, they are not hypocrites for visiting because of crime. They knew they will be taken care, and those in charge will ensure their safety. Okay, when I first came across this tweet that I just read, it popped up on my timeline. I knew they must have been making, that tweet must have been making reference to probably a headline, the Daily Fair or the Sun. That was my assumption. Then come this video, and I say, oh, so that's what this all about. And I mentioned it on my community board as well. All right, whenever you see the squad or talking about something, it's a response to headline. I don't follow the Daily Mail, the royal family, all the haters who spreading, you know, stupid things on social media. I don't follow them. But when the squad made reference to something, I will read and then I will assume it's based on a headline. Then later on, I find out what the headline was. It's this. Okay, the previous tweet that I just read with all of the headline is making reference to that. Okay, so Charles' bag of money were commissioned by UK Foreign Office. Okay, so let's listen to this. Okay, pause, and they always incriminate themselves. Hello, okay, hello. Well, oh, it started further. Oh, what in the name? I didn't know. Okay, definitely I would. Okay, so this looks familiar. 11 hours. Okay, so they are new. We have a long night. We have a long night. I did not know. Okay, I thought this was the only thing. But let's listen to this. When we come back to it again, I'll just skip it, and then I'm gonna go up and listen to all of their BS, because I was ignoring them all last week during the Nigeria visit. Okay, LOL, it's very dangerous for the Sussexes to do these royal tours because they could be manipulated by foreign government. What? But that's not royal tours. They're there for themselves, for the Invictus. So all of a sudden they're associating them with the royal family? Okay, but let's listen. 1 minute and 3 seconds.
In public. I just thought that was very interesting.
What do you think? Can we assume that this won't be the last of the, not at all honestly, a royal tour?
Oh, they've made very clear in said publication in the US that they intend that this will be a template of things to come. So
well, Harry made a comment about this, you know, it could be the first of many. And I've been hearing sort of mutterings in diplomatic circles here that there is great concern about this because it's very dangerous. You know, you've got Harry and Meghan potentially visiting countries without that control that we have.
Oh, there's the part here. Control. They want to control them. But you guys don't provide them security. But the countries that they go to, they made sure they get the security that they need. That's the thing here. They want to control Harry and Meghan. What control? Oh my God, these people are insane.
Any trips by royals are organised by the Foreign Office. It's all...
You guys kick them out. You need to take this to Charles and William. Okay? They literally, I mean, in one of the comments, let me go on my community board because I think I explained it very well there. Let me go on my community board because these people are freaking insane. Are insane. I didn't even hear the video, and for me to actually vote what I... Okay, that's a nutcase. Okay, concerning Boy Suitor. Which one was it? Oh my God, where is it? Let me pause and look for it. That's not what I was looking for, but since I'm there, let me share it with you. This is the tweet that I just read, and I read all of the headlines, and I said, okay, now I see why the previous tweet was tweeted. The noisemakers are still whining about Harry and Meghan Nigeria visit. The first two images are screenshot of the video. The last image is the last tweet from the previous post. I didn't have enough slot to put. Okay, but this is here where I'm saying I didn't know this was about the video. Oh, did I share it? Look like I didn't share that video. Okay, this is where I'm at now. I didn't put it in the order. But anyway, so where's the thing I'm looking for? Let me pause again. So this is a tweet that I share where someone is saying that to make reference to VID to Charles because of Harry and Meghan Nigeria trip. So this is my caption here. Here's a nutcase for y'all. I save her the embarrassment of blacking her profile and Twitter image. My comment is in the second image. Thank God for spare. Harry's exit plan was predetermined. The Sandringham Summit was a show for the public to make the public believe they tried so hard to work things out with Harry and nothing was possible to probably make Harry stay. So this was the mindset of the institution. That was their plan, in my humble opinion. To counter that stunt, because it was a stunt that the royal family was putting. While Harry had offered to work for free, and I put a lot of E behind it, for the firm, which was rejected, Harry had the court review Dumb and Dumber head in the sand type of decision. This is why the court review was necessary. If Harry didn't do that, no one would have known what was said and done at the Sandringham Summit. Just like the bully allegation, the document will not have seen the light and day. It will have remained sealed. Now that Harry and Meghan are doing their own things and they are very successful at it, the Sandringham Summit will have resurfaced just about now. In my humble opinion, their claim will probably be around the vicinity that, quote, what Harry and Meghan are doing was or is against their agreement. Okay, that is if they did not have the court review. So we would not know what was said in those during the discussion. Okay, remember, they wasted Harry's time. I think Harry said he was there for like a couple hours, but when at the end, I guess once they waste Harry's time, 45 to an hour or something like that, and then they come with the paper and say, here's the agreement. And Harry was shocked and said, wait a second, you already have that written and we are still in discussion? Okay?
Began to address Granny about the 5 options. Your Majesty, you've seen the 5 options? Yes, she said. We all had. They'd been emailed to us. 5 different ways of proceeding. Option 1 was continuance of the status quo. Meg and I don't leave. Everyone tries to go back to normal. Option 5 was full severance. No royal role, no working for Granny, and total loss of security. Option 3 was somewhere in between. A compromise, closest to what we'd originally proposed. I told everyone assembled that, above all, I was desperate to keep security. That was what worried me most, my family's physical safety. I wanted to prevent a repeat of history, another untimely death like the one that had rocked this family to its core 23 years earlier, and from which we were still trying to recover. I'd consulted with several palace veterans, people who knew the inner workings of the monarchy and its history, and they all said option 3 was best for all parties. Meg and I living elsewhere part of the year, continuing our work, retaining security, returning to Britain for charities, ceremonies, events. Sensible solution, these palace veterans said, and eminently doable. But the family, of course, pushed me to take option 1. Barring that, they would only accept option 5. We discussed the 5 options for nearly an hour. At last, the bee got up and went round the table, handing out a draft of a statement the palace would soon be releasing, announcing implementation of option 5. Wait, I'm confused. You've already drafted a statement? Before any discussion? Announcing option 5? In other words, the fix was in this whole time? This summit was just for show? No answer.
So they had their plan already. All right. So this is why I said the court review was necessary. Okay. Meanwhile, modification to the Nigerian summit will probably be done to fit current narrative. All in all, Harry's long and daunting process was necessary. Like Harry and Meghan said in the Oprah interview, they tried to protect them. Dumb and dumber.
So in conclusion, if you'd had the support, you'd still be there?
Without question.
Yeah.
I'm sad that what's happened has happened, but I know and I'm comfortable knowing that we did everything that we could to make it work, and we did everything on the exit process the way that it should have been
with
done.
as much respect.
With as much
and,
respect.
Oh my God, we just did everything we could to protect them.
So what do you say to the people who say that?
This is why the Nigerian summit. All right, so there's 9 people. I need to go back to that and read some of the comments here. I love reading comments, but I'm in the middle of recording. Let's finish that. Now back to this. Okay, so what I just said and my community board fits perfectly here, because Harry and Meghan are not working royal. The royal family create the framework in which Harry and Meghan can proceed with their lives. They can't use HRH. Harry wanted to give back the title. They didn't want to take it. But every day we're hearing give back the title. Meanwhile, Harry had already put that on the table. And then they did the Nigerian summit. When Harry was there, throughout the discussion, Harry's trying to say half in and all of that. They said no. It either all in or all out. Meanwhile, in the midst of discussion, the paper was already written. The document was already written. So Harry knew, Harry born in there. He knew how they operate. So therefore, he did everything that we saw. Going to court, have the judge look at it. And then the judge agree. I'm not upset at the judge for agreeing with it. With what the royal family did to push Harry out. Why? Because Harry is not the heir to the throne. So for them, with their racism, it's sad. Don't get me wrong, for them to do that to him. It is very sad. But in a broader sense, when you look at, there's the king and the spare, which is William, are on the same page. They don't want Harry to be in the circle, in the midst of things. So the judge have to agree with them, because William and Charles are the key holders to the institution. So I don't know what this guy is talking about. That I forgot what he said, because I went on to my community board and read that long thing. So let me rewind it slightly. I remember he said something about in control or all of that. You don't need to be in control. It's best that you don't know, because if the institution aware of what, even though they did put the, how do you call this, the schedule of what they will be doing, but if the institution was aware of everything Harry and Meghan were doing, guess what? They will plan to sabotage them. Because when you look at when Meghan and Harry were doing working well, not Meghan, because they didn't consider her as working well, but Meghan thought she was, but they never specified to her. And then they went to South Africa. All right, they knew Harry and Meghan were gonna be out doing engagement, and Archie was gonna be behind with the nanny. What did they do? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, fire in the baby's room. Okay, this is why the royal family don't need to know a damn thing. They don't need to know a damn thing. They're giving Harry and Meghan a huge favor, not knowing a damn thing, because they want to sabotage their every move. All right, so let me rewind it slightly.
Potentially visiting countries without that control that we have. You know, any trips by royals are organised by the Foreign Office. It's all monitored.
Okay, that's the thing here. He's explaining. If they know every step that Harry and Meghan are making, they will have an input when they could do their sabotage. Okay, he's explaining exactly what I'm talking about. I move it back again.
Any trips by royals are organised by the Foreign Office. It's all monitored. You make sure that they're not being used. But, you know, in this case, Harry and Meghan are open to being manipulated by foreign governments who may not have, you know, the interests at heart of Britain or...
Okay, Harry is not there. Harry and Meghan are not there to represent Britain. They are there to represent the Invictus and themselves. None of the royal family, the UK, nothing. The Invictus. And then the charities that they support, Archwell. And one of the videos while they were over there, when Harry was sitting in front, there was a soldier next to him. He was talking about, I'm sorry, my wife is not there. She has to do some other engagement. He was aware that the soldiers wanted to see his wife. But Harry said something specifically. On a humanitarian level, this is why he's there. He wants to see the soldiers who have their body no longer in need for the country, but there's no one there to help them pick them up.
For facilitating this visit to Kaduna. I'll keep this very short because time is short and we must get to the hospital to meet as many troops as possible. I'm very sorry that I didn't bring my wife up to Kaduna. I can see that you wanted to see her, but this trip was important for me to do by myself, and she has separate meetings. This trip was important for me to do by myself, and she has separate meetings in Abuja. Your words, I feel your words of encouragement and of support. Thank you, and thank you for everything that you do, your service to this community. The focus of this trip up here is obviously the wounded, injured and sick men and women who serve the Nigerian forces to keep people safe. And having founded the Invictus Games over 10 years ago, Nigeria was the first African nation to join last year in Germany with 10 fantastic human beings. And as we had a conversation with the Chief of Defence Staff a few hours earlier, he acknowledged the smiles on their faces and the fact that that opportunity, that moment, being part of the Invictus community, put a smile back on their face. So when you talk about lifting the spirits, that is what we are here to do, and we will build on that morale and show that anyone that is caught in the line of fire, that their life, despite injury, is not over, and that they and their families can continue on, and that sport will be a very useful way for rehabilitation. So, without wanting to take up more of your time, I thank you.
Is this new? When did you get that?
Last year. How's it working for you? Good? Have you given it a name? No, yet. Give it a name. Strong. You're still getting used to it? Or you're okay walking?
Is this new?
Harry is not there to speak on behalf of no country. This is why Invictus has all those soldiers from different countries. Now, I don't know how the next Invictus, what's that country who's fighting in the Middle East? Oh my God. Israel is gonna be looked at, but he has no choice. He can't say anything, whether he agreed with what Israel soldiers did to one of the organization he supported. Okay? What is it? Well, Central Kitchen. So he has to say neutral, even though deep inside he probably wants to say something. He can't, because he's there for the soldiers only. So all of this, you know, these people have no say.
America, and I think it is dangerous.
Interestingly as well, just returning briefly to the topic of last week's show, Richard, we now understand that the King offered...
Okay, so I'm gonna start from the top. This was the one that was put on the video that the tweet that I
seen in public.
The tweet that I bookmarked, but apparently there's more. So let's listen to the BS that they're saying, because I was ignoring them. I was ignoring them all last week. So let's see what they have to say here. LOL, I see Morning Show 7 got scared that the lawyer's letter was on the way to them. Typical racist hating on the Sussexes backfire. They had to backtrack. Loading report. Archwell Foundation no longer listed as delinquent. See, I told you. I ignored them. All this noise were happening all last week. I had no clue. The day that I put the governor Governor Newsom video, a few hours, I would say a few minutes before, or hours, could have been hours, someone sent me a tweet with a screenshot about Archwell. I was like, what is that? Because I wasn't following them all last week. My focus was in Nigeria. And then I was like, let me look into it. And then I type whatever keyword that I put, and I saw all the videos. Oh my God. I saw all the videos of California governor talking about it. I was like, what? I swear, I did not know anything about it. This is how much I blocked them. So in order for those derangers, if they don't care about Harry and Meghan, they could do it. They could block my posts, my videos. They could block all of this, because I literally blocked them. I didn't know. So when someone sent me that, I was like, what the hell is that? And then I searched, and I saw a whole bunch of videos of retweeting, okay, about the California governor's Newsom's thing about Archwell. And then I quickly put it out for you guys with screenshot and everything, because it seems like they were talking about it. I wasn't aware of it for me to share with you. So as soon as I was aware, and it seemed like it was a lot of noise while the Nigeria trip was going on, so I put it out for you really quickly, but I was not aware. It was news to me. So they were the one who was spreading the BS. Okay, Archwell being delinquent. Okay, let's see what BS they're saying here. 1 minute and 46 seconds. So I'm being educated of the BS that they were putting out last week.
Yeah, this was a twist we didn't see coming. You know, we were told that Archwell was delinquent. Then yesterday we told you it was no longer delinquent. All the mess had been cleaned up. Then suddenly the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, decided to get into quite a detailed affirmation of what Archwell is doing, very much a public validation of their work. Some people are saying, cynically maybe, that this was a typical politician wanting to provide a sexier story for the press rather than the real story in California at the moment, which is the homelessness problem, which doesn't seem to be going away fast. So have a look at this. This is the governor of California.
My goodness. He has to throw his shade. I mean, every places have issues, and many of the homelessness that's going on in California, it's other states that are shipping them off to other states like California and New York. Okay, so this is, oh my God, the nonsense that's going on. There's one in my area in particular, the place that I move in. When I first left college, and I saw, because we had a project in the area, and I was like, it wasn't as fancy as it is now, but I saw the potential since I was in college. As soon as I graduate, this is where I move, and I find a job near there. And the place is almost like New York City's type of how you call this, economy. But before it wasn't like that. There's a homeless man I used to see over my neighborhood, and the place is still being revitalized. And that guy, that homeless man, used to sit in one particular corner. Sometimes I give him money, but I know it was not the best thing because I know he drank. But there are times I give him food. But for a while, I didn't see him. And at that time, I saw they were renovating the building that the corner that he usually sits in. And then one day, my husband went to Brooklyn because that's where his mom is. And he said, "You won't believe who I saw over there." And I was like, "Who?" He said, "You know that homeless guy who's always sitting this and all that? I saw him over my mom's neighborhood." I was like, "You sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's him." So these people, when they revitalizing an area for the homeless, where did he get the money? Because this guy is always, don't take showers and all of that to get in the subway to go over there. They had to put him in a truck or something and then drop him somewhere in Brooklyn. This never fails me. I'm always thinking about him, how he's doing wherever he's at. So many of the issues that California is going through, sometimes those red states, let's say Texas, which has done it, Florida, which has done it, put these people, some migrants as well, on a bus and then ship them to democratic more states like New York or something like that. All right, so this is where some of the problem is. But there's other issues as well. Rent is very expensive over there. You have those tech people moving those areas. They're making millions, but they still can't afford their rent as well. Okay, so I just want to fill you in this aspect that he just mentioned here. It's a bigger problem, okay?
Yeah, very much singing the praises of Harry and Meghan and condemning people like us who reported that story.
Archwell Foundation do extraordinary work.
I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I just put coffee in my mouth and I almost choked when he put himself in the category people like us. Where did he say it?
And condemning people like us who reported that story.
Okay.
Archwell Foundation do extraordinary work, particularly women and girls, but notably around mental health. It was a very typical technical issue around paperwork that persists for so many others as well, and they're in full compliance, and they're a celebrated organization that does great work in the state of California. So I wanted to clarify that because that's important, and I just thought there was a little bit of a piling on that was deeply unfair.
Yeah, that's not a pile on. If you have a very high...
My thing is, okay, if these people, those reporters are so deep, that deep into Harry and Meghan's work, the nonsense that's going on in the UK, sometimes I report them because of Byline who mentioned them or some other news article mentioned. Why don't they do that type of investigation? Because Harry and Meghan are not public funded. So this has to be some sort of a sabotage. Someone somewhere create that messed up to alert the papers and then to start talking about it. And oh my God, the amount of unnecessary headache these people are putting on Harry and Meghan when they want to focus. This is why many times I keep on pray for protection, because the people that they have around them, they have to be extra vigilant, because you do not know who these people are, their intention, because this has to be a sabotage. Someone somewhere create that mixed up and then alert the paper to start talking about it. This is freaking crazy. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan wants to help people. Let's continue.
Profile charity, as obviously Harry and Meghan's is because of them, and they get the letter from the Attorney General. I mean, we saw the letter from the Attorney General saying that was the word they used, that it was a delinquent entity. That is the legitimate news story, whether the Governor of California likes it or not.
100%. And two things can be true. It can be a terrific foundation and do...
Yeah.
But let's continue with their BS. The way they hated that, had to retracted their story. I mean, they need to investigate to see where it originated, There's an insider somewhere. But anyway.
If you have a very high-profile charity, as obviously Harry and Meghan's is because of them, and they get the letter from the Attorney General, I mean, we saw the letter from the Attorney General saying that was the word they used, that it was a delinquent entity. That is a legitimate news story, whether the Governor of California likes it or not.
100%. And two things can be true. It can be a terrific foundation and do fabulous work. No one's denying that. But also true is that they didn't have the paperwork in on time. But I think the Governor was actually making the point that that happens to many other foundations and many other businesses as well. It doesn't change the fact that they were late.
Yeah, and as we said the other day...
Both things can be true.
True, yeah. And as we said the other day, we never said that the Archwell Foundation was in any way shonky, just that maybe their administration department was a pretty slack.
As I'm listening to them here, all I'm thinking, the amount of energy they're putting on Harry and Meghan's thing, why they don't do that to the royal family. Okay, you have Charles going to different countries with bag full of cash. For what? For what? What did he have to do to get that of money? It's fine. He could get the cash. But why? Why did he have it? But next thing you know, police dropped the investigation here and there. But you don't look at that. What did the police find? Oh my Lord.
Anyway, I think it's answered one of the most important questions of the last month, because the Governor spoke so highly. Clearly, we now...
You have a very high...
Okay, it's going over. Let's see here. Okay, they're still trying to spend it. 17 seconds.
We said the other
both
day...
things can be true.
True, yeah. And as we said the other day, we never said that the Archwell Foundation was in any way shonky, just that maybe their administration department was a pretty slack.
Anyway, I think it's answered one of the most important questions of the last month, because the Governor spoke.
We said the other day...
It's going again. All right, so now we are into this. All right, it's your weekly carnival so-called expert on the tour to Nigeria. Apparently, there's this here. Who's that? Foreign Commonwealth Government. What's that? ND. I don't know what is that. Something is blacking it. Isn't happy that they are in Commonwealth countries and they royals and UK can't cash on it. Richard. Who's that? Richard D. I don't know who's that. The tour looked fantastic, but it was very curated. They didn't mean any... What is that? Oh my God. Let me start all over. It's your weekly carnival of so-called expert on the tour to Nigeria. Apparently, there's this here government, foreign Commonwealth and whatever, isn't happy that they are in Commonwealth countries and they royal and UK can't cash on it. Richard D.K. quote, the tour looked fantastic, but it was very curated. They didn't mean any ordinary people, that's the ruling eye. As you will expect, in a very populous country, Meghan conducted herself magnificently. Okay, 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Let's see here. So it continues to there. All right, so let's listen.
What were your impressions of the Africa trip?
Well, was it a royal tour or wasn't it a royal tour?
I couldn't possibly say.
No, well, it was very interesting. It looked fantastic, but it was a highly curated tour because they did not meet very many ordinary people. These were hand-picked guests, all very colourful.
But the thing is that the country invited them and then they did what they needed to do. Okay? They met with the military.
For facilitating this visit to Kaduna. I'll keep this very short because time is short and we must get to the hospital to meet as many troops as possible. I'm very sorry that I didn't bring my wife up to Kaduna. I can see that you wanted to see her. But this trip was important for me to do by myself, and she has separate meetings.
They spoke with the defense person in Nigeria. He met Harry, went to the hospital and saw some of the injured. I share with you on our part of service. Feel free to go check it out. Okay, so he did his thing. Meanwhile, while they were there, there's other things that can be done. Okay, 3 days. It was non-stop. I mean, right now, I think they should still be sleeping since they left over there, because they did a lot. And then I'm coming across more things that they did. On my last video on PYTE, there's a video for Save the Children. They went over there. And one of the comments under that particular tweet said, oh, it's Anne's charity, patronage, And I'm like, okay. What Meghan's visit, Meghan and Harry's visit has to do with Anne. isn't to create, the focus is the children. Shouldn't that be the focus? What Anne has to is like a freaking competition with these people. Meanwhile, the objective, whatever the reason the charity was created, they forget about that. They just want to look at competition between people. But there's Harry and Meghan who go places and tackle the core issues of whatever the charity is going through. But these people, no wonder why Meghan said a clown. They're full-blown stupid. All right, let's listen.
As you would expect in such a populous country.
But then again, with my word, I'm going to rewind it because I keep on stopping. This is not stupid, okay? They're playing stupid, but they're very calculated in their stupidity. Because for them, when people are in need, they survive, they thrive, they get satisfaction out of somebody else's pain. So when people are in pain, they're fine. Okay? But this is full-blown evil. Evil. These people are full-blown evil. That's all I could think of. Because why will you be happy when someone is in surviving mode, yet when someone is trying to help put these people in a thriving state, you don't like it? So these people are full evil. But let me rewind it. All right. Each time I try to get into their mindset, I just cannot comprehend. I just cannot comprehend. All right.
What were your impressions of the Africa trip?
Well, was it a royal tour or wasn't it a royal tour?
I couldn't possibly say.
No, well, it was very interesting. It looked fantastic, but it was a highly curated tour because they did not meet very many ordinary people. These were hand-picked guests, all very colourful, as you would expect in such a populous country as Nigeria. You know, in many ways, Meghan conducted herself magnificently. I mean, she really was the star of the show. Harry sort of disappeared into the background, a bit like Charles.
No, don't start to create nonsense here. There's, for instance, that I mentioned earlier, Harry, there's one area where Harry was talking to the soldiers. He didn't bring Meghan. And he even said, I know you guys wanted to see my wife, but this is why I'm here. She's doing other engagement. Okay, so it depends on what camera, what is being shared, and all of that. So you guys weren't there. You saw what, for instance, many of the people who were around Meghan, the events that Meghan was doing, they had their cell phone. They put content out there. We got to see it. Meanwhile, Harry's thing was the soldiers. They were focusing on the work. If many of the squaddies who met Meghan were not sharing on social media, we would not know. Because your dumbass wasn't there. So you don't know. Okay? This is why my channel is here. Many of the squad that follows me and I follow them, I get to see what they share. Look at this. Last week, the things about Archwell, you guys were gaslighting. I had no clue about it. Why? Because I don't follow your dumb asses. So it depends who you're following. But you want to say about very colorful, Meghan is the populist thing. That's because you follow the damn squad. If you did not follow the squad, you will not know about any of these. Alright, so that's that.
His portrait. But it's an interesting pointer because is this going to be a sign of things to come? Are they going to carry on doing these faux quasi-royal tours which aren't quite right? Or are they...
What? Wait. Okay, faux, not quite right. But they're not for the royal family. Meanwhile, the people they are helping are very grateful for that. So it's not for you. The thing that Harry and Meghan are doing, not for you. But the people, they don't consider other people as anything. You have soldiers thanking Harry and Meghan for the work that they are doing.
So come on, everybody.
But these people are saying faux, but not quite right. These people are insane. The lunatic and craziness over there. They are displaying it for the world to see.
You're going to actually be bolder and allow them to interact with ordinary members of the public who may have treated their presence in their country with a little bit more indifference.
Is this really what people keep saying, a quasi-royal trip, or is it the soft launch of Meghan's presidential?
Presidential. But anyway, thank God Harry did the review for his security. We got to know what was in the Nigerian summit, because right about now they would have come out and said Harry was not supposed to do that. That was not part of the agreement, and this is why the thing had to be made public. Harry then just come out, made a press conference, and read what was the Nigerian summit.
You may have heard or perhaps read over the past few weeks. So I want you to hear the truth from me, as much as I can share, not as a prince or a duke, but as Harry, the same person that many of you have watched grow up over the last 35 years, but now with a clearer perspective. The UK is my home and a place that I love. That will never change. I've grown up feeling supported from so many of you, and I watched as you welcomed Meghan with open arms, as you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. Finally, the second son of Diana got hitched. Hooray. I also know that you've come to know me well enough over all these years to trust that the woman I chose as my wife upholds the same values as I do. And she does. And she's the same woman I fell in love with. We both do everything we can to fly the flag and carry out our roles for this country with pride. Once Meghan and I were married, we were excited, we were hopeful, and we were here to serve. For those reasons, it brings me great sadness that it has come to this. The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges. And I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option.
We discussed the 5 options for nearly an hour. At last, the bee got up and went round the table, handing out a draft of a statement the palace would soon be releasing, announcing implementation of option 5. Wait, I'm confused. You've already drafted a statement? Before any discussion? Announcing option 5? In other words, the fix was in this whole time? This summit was just for show? No answer.
It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges. And I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option.
He went to court. This is how carefully steps Harry did, and it cost him money. This wasn't cheap. It cost him money to do all this, to hire a lawyer, to go and represent him in court, for the court to do the review. So that's how we got to know they pushed Harry out, and they literally did not want him to represent the institution, because the brand that they go in with, the racist mindset, because every day what you're hearing out of the UK is racist type of mentality. They did not want Harry, along with his wife, be a figure for the institution. So they push him, both of them, out. Okay? We would not have known all of this on the document as they were pushing them out. And thank God Harry and Meghan did that. And then in the Oprah interview, I remember Oprah asked them something in that vicinity. Will you still be a working royal if things wasn't like that? I'm paraphrasing. And both of them said yes, they will still be there.
So in conclusion, if you'd had the support, you'd still be there?
Without question.
Yeah.
I'm sad that what's happened has happened, but I know, and I'm comfortable knowing that we did everything that we could to make it work, and we did everything on the exit process the way that it should have been done.
And then in one part, I think Meghan said, we did it in the most honorable kind of way, trying to protect them. Something like that. I'll put the clip because I have it.
As much respect, oh my God, we just did everything we could to protect them.
But now they're crying foul now. this is the, my goodness, the mouthpiece. This is what Princess Diana was going through on her own. You have these people spending things completely 360. Harry and Meghan doesn't represent the institution.
Well, it could be. I mean, she could be dipping her toe into the water. I mean, who knows? I think she's got a long way to go before she'll have a tilt at the White House.
Well, Rebecca, a piece of the Mail suggested this week, like, we're talking...
Meghan never said she's gonna run for office, okay? That's not... Oh, God. These people are freaking ridiculous.
About Meghan's outfits alone for the trip would have cost around £130,000, something like 165,000 US dollars. Whether she paid for those or whether she's borrowed them, it was a very strategically planned, pulling out all the stops, right?
I mean, I got the impression it was very much the Meghan show. I mean, although they were there for Invictus, she always seemed to be kind of taking one step in front of her husband. It was all very much about her and her...
Okay. First of all, with the clothes, I'm not really a fashion person. I always let you guys know that. But occasionally, when the squad put things about fashion and things like that, because I know some of you are interested in it, I'll share it with you on my community board or even in some of my videos. I was aware of this one aspect, for instance. The yellow dress that Meghan wore, this is the same dress she wore when she was pregnant with Lily and Miss N took the photo. How do I know? Because of the Photoshop photo of William did with Kate with the kids, and then Miss N, something was said about Miss N, and Miss N put out the original photo of Harry and Meghan. And color and full color mode. The only difference is the one that Harry and Meghan had published was black and white. And I think Miss N had said it. It's only the filter, but nothing was moved around. Nothing was changed. They didn't add the trees. They didn't do anything. It's just the filter. And it's still in its original form. So when Miss N put the original photo without the filter, you see the dress, the color of the dress, yellow. What did Meghan wear in one of the outing while she was in Nigeria? The same exact dress. Okay? So these people don't even... Meghan always recycle her clothes. She doesn't just wear it once and toss it away. So this should not even be in their mouth. And then it should not even be their concern. Okay? I'm aware of that. I don't even follow that much about their clothes. But anyway, let's continue.
Rejection. What was very interesting for me, and I think it's a really good point of Richard Kay's, the fact that, you know, on royal tours, which are also very heavily scripted as well, there will be a lot of walkabouts, a lot of meeting people, and you don't know what reaction you're going to get. And sometimes, as we've seen in the UK recently, you know, Republican demonstrators have used those things those walkabouts to campaign against the monarchy, and they're, you know, they're perfectly entitled to do so.
There were never going to be any demonstrations on this tour, not with the level of security.
Well, exactly. And also I thought what was very interesting, and I promise you I'm not saying this as a gripe as a journalist.
You're not a journalist. The thing that they want for Harry and Meghan, okay, no security, and people could do whatever it is that they want. You know, let me not say what I'm thinking, but God is good. The protection is there.
Also on those royal tours, there's a wide variety of royal tours with a wide variety of journalists from all different papers, from television, from radio, photographers, not always people with a positive...
Okay, you people, this is why Harry and Meghan didn't invite you. But luckily you got the BBC, okay, over there. Because I read one of the thread, I think it's part 2 on our Part of Pure Service, yesterday's video. One of the journalists from BBC who was reporting the thing, at least he let one of you guys in, but you people, okay, look how out of the context you're saying your BS because of posts that you see on Twitter. And this is why YouTube quickly demonetized that other channel.
What were your impressions of?
Because I was sharing the exact same thing that was being shown. They quickly demonetized, thinking that they will discourage me. The things are still there. I'm not even gonna fight them. I'm waiting until the end of the summer, then we move it. So if you guys want to see it, I told you, when I put it up there, it wasn't never about the money. The channel wasn't even monetized when I first put them. I just wanted to show you what I was seeing. Some of them I manipulate a little bit. Yesterday's video, I went back to some of the tweet to do some kind of commentary, just like I'm doing right now. But other than that, the other videos were for you to see what was going on before these people come across and run in front, say BS. So I wanted you guys to see what was truly happening. And YouTube, on the other hand, quickly, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't need money. Tell me, who doesn't need money? We always need money. I need money. But my intention for sharing those things with you, because many of the squads, when they share things on Twitter, they don't mind you sharing it because they know those derangers, these mouthpieces, talking BS nonstop. As long as it's Sussex squad, they allow, I mean, many of them, I'm not talking for all of them. Okay, I share them and whatever. So YouTube demonetized it quickly. I'm like, fine, it's still there. As of May 17, 2024, go on our Part of Pure Service, look at all those short videos. They're all there. YouTube demonetized that channel because of those. Go see them and feel free to do whatever, because at the end of the summer I'm gonna remove them. Okay, so that's the next one. LOL, Becky the blabbermouth. Quote, they had one photographer, one reporter, and normally on royal tours there is a lot of press pack. Apparently, she's surprised because the Sussexes want to control what's said about them. She's suggesting that no UK reporters allowed, be the Nigerian. Let's see here. Let me pause again. Come on, pause. Be the Nigerian reporters and photographers were allowed to cover their visit. LOL. Okay, so let's listen. They had enough experience of you guys. So enough is enough. All you had to do is, based on your perspective, report the facts. But no, you create imaginary stuff out of nowhere. So why allowed you to come? And then don't be surprised because Heavy, as they were leaving, they told you guys, you're not part of that thing.
Although they were there for Invictus, she always seemed to be kind of taking one step in front of her husband. It was all very much about her and her projection.
Okay, this is why she didn't allow you guys. You could just talk about the images the Sussex squad were doing. Heavy always let his wife, you know, walk in front, you know, allow her down front. But you guys think, I mean, you want men to treat you like shit, but don't pass it on to your views onto Meghan.
For facilitating this visit to Kaduna. I'll keep this very short because time is short and we must get to the hospital to meet as many troops as possible. I'm very sorry that I didn't bring my wife up to Kaduna. I'm very sorry that I didn't bring my wife up to Kaduna. I can see that you wanted to see her, but this trip was important for me to do by myself, and she has separate meetings.
What was very interesting for me, and I think it's a really good point of Richard Kay's, the fact that, you know, on royal tours, which are also very heavily scripted as well, there will be a lot of walkabouts, a lot of meeting people, and you don't know what reaction you're going to get. And sometimes, we've seen in the UK recently, you know, Republican demonstrators have used those things those walkabouts to campaign against the monarchy, and they're, you know, they're perfectly entitled to do so.
There were never going to be any demonstrations on this tour, not with the level of security.
Well, exactly. And also I thought what was very interesting, and
that was for Invictus, okay? The guard, the military is, what is it? Something defense who invited Heavy and Meghan for Invictus. So there's that.
I promise you, I'm not saying this as a gripe as a journalist, but
you're not a journalist.
On those royal tours, there's a wide variety of royal tours with a wide variety of journalists from all different papers, from television, from radio, photographers, not always people with a positive view in their paper of the monarchy. What was really interesting about Harry and Meghan's trip is that nobody was allowed to cover it apart from one hand-picked journalist and one hand-picked photographer.
Right.
Both of, you know, one journalist.
Go either on PYTE or our Part of Pure Service. I came across different reporters who were talking about it. I cover some of them. I don't know if it's from the same stations or whatever, but there were others who reported it, and I came across it. I share it with you, either on PYTE or our Part of Pure Service. but not on this channel, because I leave this channel for those derangers type of talk.
It's from a publication that's very, very pro Sussexes in the US, and their own photographer who they've worked with for a long time. And I thought that was quite interesting, given the criticism that Harry has levelled against the media and the royal family, but also this kind of position he puts himself up there as a kind of a commissioner against, you know, misinformation, and yet everything was very, very, very much pushed out through a very...
Okay, you go into the extreme, lady. You go into the extreme. Because I've seen other people reporting on it. They just don't allow you guys. You have been people like you, the Daily Mail, which he's suing because of stupidity. You have been, not you specifically, but, you know, the UK media have been doing for a very long time. And he knows how you guys behave. So he exclude you. Then he allowed BBC to cover it. So you have one source from the UK to cover it, and then the rest media from other places are allowed, because I came across different one. It's just you guys. And he, don't be surprised, because he literally told you guys he's not dealing with you, because you don't tell things exactly how it is, just like you're doing right now. You don't know. Oh my God.
Narrow prism of, and they very much controlled the way their tour was seen in public. I just thought that was very interesting.
What do you think? Can we assume that this week won't be the last of the not at all?
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. What other BS are they saying here? Oh, how they jealous of Harry's wife's wardrobe. Meghan's outfit alone cost £130,000. Whether she pay or loan them, it was a very strictly planned, pulling out all the stops, right? Like I was saying, the yellow dress, something she wore already when she was pregnant. That other top with sleeveless and had a turtleneck. Okay, she wore it, I believe it was during the Invictus Netherlands, when she was introducing her husband to the stage. It was actually 1 year to go, the event that Harry and Meghan did in Germany. It was not when Meghan was introducing Harry on stage. It was the 1 year to go. That's when she wore that top. And then that top, I will never know she wore it, because it was about Save the Children. It was an article that was written about it. I came across it. And then through the article caption and the image, and then I got to see it. Okay, so Meghan's wardrobe should not be on those people's mouth. Alright, so many of the clothes that she wore have been worn before. Alright, so let's continue. 41 seconds.
Mail suggested this week, if we're talking about Meghan's outfits alone for the trip, would have cost around £130,000, something like 165,000 US dollars. Whether she paid for those or whether she's borrowed them, it was a very strategically planned, pulling out all the stops, right?
I mean, I got the impression it was very much the Meghan show. I mean, although they were there for Invictus, she always seemed to be kind of taking one step in front of her husband. It was all very much about her and her project.
No. While they were there, Harry was doing exactly what he went there for.
I'm very sorry that I didn't bring my wife up to Kaduna. I can see that you wanted to see her, but this trip was important for me to do by myself, and she has separate meetings.
And then the host country decided to do some other things, you know, that they want to do for Harry and Meghan. And also, while they were there, imagine you travel thousands of miles to be in a place. I mean, after doing certain things for the purpose you were there for, while you have some free time, you do something else, which was save the children. Okay, and there's that women summit that she did. All right, so Harry wasn't there. Meghan was doing her own thing. Many of the squads were part of that summit. You know, the talk. I don't think it's a summit. Whatever, the talk for women was there. Leadership, I think it was. Okay, so they put it on social media. This is how we knew about it. So if many of the military people who had their cell phone were putting what Harry was doing, it will be the same. Okay, Harry went to do his thing. Meghan went to do some other things, still under the umbrella of Archwell. So woman, shut the hell up. Oh my God.
What was very interesting for me, and I think it's a really good point of Richard Kay's, the fact that, you know, on royal tours, which are also very...
Mail suggested this week locally.
Oh my God, the mindset of these people. LOL, quote, it's very dangerous for the Sussexes to do these royal tours because they could be manipulated by foreign government.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.